And we're back, Nocturnal Duck, with another deck tech for you today, and we have Chandra's Kin. Interesting. And here we are with the Chandra Kins. Let me explain. We have all of the kins. We have the Steam Kin, we have the Thunder Kin, we have our Lava Kin. So, what they're all going to be doing is belly dancing with a whole Chandra tribal build. I haven't got all the Chandras, I have particular Chandras. So, Chandra tribal meshed in with red elements kin package. So let me explain it properly. We have our Chandra's Ember Cat, which is going to just ramp everything. Like I mentioned, everything's either a Chandra or element. So that's Rampage. Runaway Stinkin, more Rampage, also a Beefcake from Tam to Tam. Our Thunderkin, this guy's going to be attacking straight away. Also, you have to buff him, which we can do, but he's going to bring back elements and have them attacking for a turn as well. So that's going to be a nice little extra piece. Chandra's Regulator is going to round out our hands and double over all of our Chandra triggers. Spitfire. This one is going to be buffed through other means than its trigger, but we can also get the trigger occasionally. So it's here because it's an element and a flyer mainly, and it can do some legwork for us. Our Acolyte of Flame, the -2 is not happening. That's null and void. We don't have any spells. We will be putting loyalty counters on all of our Chandras, and mainly we will be making the 1/1 elements, and maybe 4 of them. So that's kind of the game plan. Icon of Ancestry is here, so that way all of those said 1/1s are now 2/2s, and sometimes can be 4/4s. And we can sort of dig in, but we won't really need that. Our Lavakin Brawler, this is going to be our main slugger. He's going to get buffed for every element that we have when he attacks, and as we've mentioned, we can have up to 4 from her, which would be crazy. We can buff him with her, which would be extra. And you can also have one of these out and it will buff him by 3, and if you have one of these out, it's another 1. So he can be hitting pretty massively, massive hits. So I have been considering putting some trample in here for these attacks, but for the most part, it is getting in. Some damage is getting in. Scampering Scorcher. This guy is here pretty much to go wide with the Chandra and the Regulator trigger. Just attacking with a bunch and hopefully making them all super strong, and also to buff this guy, so he's going to do some more sort of legwork for us. Plus it sets up some nice little blockers on turn 4, sometimes 3. Then we have our Pyromancer. Our +1 with this comes into play a lot. Our -1 comes into play a lot, dropping these or dropping 2 or 3 things, and basically the -2 is the removal. That's going to be replacing our shocks. Sorry. So yeah, -2, and with the Regulator you can be doubling that over. So that's like having 4 to 8 shocks in a sense. So that's a nice extra thing, which can also trigger the Chandra Spitfire. Now onto the last Chandras off the deck. The big mama herself, the uncounterable behemoth. She's going to be pretty much sweeping the board for us and putting a emblem onto their face, making it so they take a damage. And just a side note, if they take damage in their turn from the emblems, this starts buffing and becomes a really nice blocker. But this Chandra I would probably include more of, and maybe even drop this one, because it just does more for the element build. You've got the +1 to do damage to anything, which will help the Chandra Spitfire, and with that out, it's 2 shocks. -2 to do 4 damage to anything, +2 damage. Again, triggering that, and again, if you do 2 of them, and then the -8, 10 damage to target player, so they can just finish the game for us. So I think more of them would be better in the deck. That's the beef, cheese, and chalk of the whole deck. Then we have our lands is just 15 reds, and I have that mainly because we have ramps through the cat, through the Steamkin, and through the Chandra, which all produce red. One blast zone just in case, and 2 cryptic caves just to dig into the deck late game if we need it, and then 4 of these beacons so we can just gain all of the life throughout the game and climb back up. So that's the deck. I would like to mention that it is not a fast moving red deck. It can be, you can dump your hand at points, but for the most part you are playing a much more sort of mid-range red deck here. It's going to be the creatures you're trying to sort of keep sticking around so you can get in big, and as you may notice, all of these are going to be targets, mainly the Kins and the Spitfires and the Brawlers. They're going to be targets, so you know it's going to just draw the removal out of their hand, and at some point in the game we're going to be able to start dropping some big things and getting wide with some big attacks, and it can come pretty consistently 2 times, 3 times through a long game for you to be swinging in with a volume of 3 or 4 strength creatures, you know. So it does serve well to know that you're not trying to move fast. The other thing to mention is the videos, all the gameplay videos you notice is the deck that I had originally, and the only thing that I changed was I took out the Scorched Spitters. They feel like they worked well with the Chandra Spitfire, but it wasn't doing the Calamity kind of value. It was just sort of being a blocker, which you don't want, and it was also just doing that 1 damage occasionally. Wasn't, you know, helping the best. You didn't really want to attack and lose him for 1 damage, and that, you know, it just felt like he wasn't pulling his weight as much as the Thunderkin. So I decided to run with the Thunderkin because I feel like with him you can buff him once by 2 and maybe even again. It's making him a 5, which means you can bring back the Brawler and attack in 1 turn. But even just with 1 buff from her, she can the Thunderkin Awakener can bring back any of these creatures and attack in that turn. It does sacrifice it at the end of the combat, but you're getting that attack in. It's better to try and get the Brawler. That's the main sort of target, obviously. The Scampering Scorch would be good too because it will leave behind 2 tokens, but neither here nor there. And I dropped 2 Scampering Scorches in lieu of Icon of Ancestry, and I put this in here because I just feel like if we can get any tokens, they're going to just be better. You know, tokens from him, you know, it just feels like it's going to do more work doing it that way. So yeah, that's the differences that I made. That's the deck now. It feels a little bit more solid and gets on track a little bit quicker. You're not sitting around from sort of turn 1 to turn 2, only really doing 2 damage, and then you're sort of forgetting all about the Scorch Spitter. Sort of comes online later now with the Thunderkin. He sort of helps the mid-range side of this deck fire. Get all the pistons firing, if you will. So if you notice, it's all fire orientated and it's all Chandra orientated. So this is, you know, works really nice, and I love the fact that they're all Kins, you know. So enjoy the gameplay. Like, subscribe, follow, do all them things, but until then, let's get into some gameplay. Alright, I'll keep this because I have the Brawler. Oops. That's what we wanted. Alright, so what you gonna do, buddy? Nothing. Now he doesn't. Another Scorcher. Mono red. There's mono red. Yep. Alright, so we get Chandra here destroying the Lava Runner. Putting him down, what? Coaxed him into removal. Get this guy down first. Then we can have options of buffing him there or there, depending on what he does. So he's on his 4th land. Looks like he's got a lava coil. Alright, so I think next turn we go into the Chandra. Baby Chandra. We'll just get rid of this. So to back up in case he removes it. Alright. Might still have a shock. Oh. I think maybe I could remove him with a double Chandra minus. Oh, actually, I could do the big Chandra, can't I? And then we'll sweep. That was better. Okay, so he's definitely gone through a lot of his removal. He's down to 2 cards. You can attack here. Thought so. Now do you have a shock? Guess not. So I'll put down this guy. Is that what we'll minus? Put down this guy. And then we shall give him a what do you call it? Emblem. There it is. Yep. That works really well. when you get a couple of these in their turn, he can just be a beefcake. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he definitely is focused on that Chandra. Oh, right. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Yeah, look at the kin down. We can do this. It's pretty much what she's here for. We've got one of the emblems, so we get 3 damage in this way. So he's got 2 cards. Okay. So he's going to get buffed. So next turn, depending, we can buff him again, either way. I think you can see that we've been stable the whole game. Like, he's being mono red. Classic mono red looks like he just needs to get all the damage in early, and he's down to 1 card. Not 16 life, so I don't think he can get through. And as you can see, I'm doing pretty hefty damage each turn now. 3 each turn with the emblems. If I can buff this guy and then him, it's pretty much going to be the game, which I can. Come on, Jade, don't be a salty sailor. Okay, so they are going to be a salty sailor. Well, I guess in the meantime I could... Well, maybe not. Maybe not. So 17. Another thingy bob. And there it is. So there's a game. Nice. This Chandra tribal, I guess you could call it, is perfect with this red elements. Obviously red elements is all themed around fire, so it's pretty much Chandra's fire kids. And I like it. I like it a lot. On to the next. Alright, I'll keep this. Couple of cats. Couple of these ones. Flame Bigglesworths. Ooh. It's not too bad at all. So I think we get the cat out. So next turn we've got 4 mana. Okay. While we still haven't lost any life, I'm just going to compile all of these out here. Now we've got 5 mana and the ability to sort of get another 4. Okay, so kind of want to put the kin down first. And put this up. So we're going to flyer. Alright, so which one are we going to take? Flyer. Can kill it, actually. Pretty smoothly. Oh no, I did it wrong. So should we buff our team and swing in? We're only swinging in with 2. We'll take it. We're left sort of untapped, unguarded. I think we need to... go this route. 2 damage to you. Two damage to you. And that's it. Now, it seemed like a bit of a backwards move because we had the full powered steam kin, but that was just needing to go. Why does it use my mana? I guess it's trying to keep my creatures up, but we'll buff them. And then that'll buff again. So that's a pretty solid hit. I mean, there's 12, 18, 21. It's lethal. I'm swinging for lethal if he didn't have any creatures to block. That was worthy. And I can do that next turn, doubling the murder. I can also bring out this guy. So there goes our Chandra. We'll discard that guy. Get him out. I'll get a buff on that. Oh. It's just sort of comes out of nowhere with this monstrous hit. And it feels nice. Feels real nice. On to the next. Alright, I thought I'd do a little pack opening in between. Got all of them. I think that's my fourth one. That's all I've been pulling lately. That's pretty good. I'll have to do a build around him. He's probably the better Gruul Planeswalker. Nice. Alright. We'll keep that. He's fully thinking I've got Calamity, right? Like, anytime you see this, you think that Calamity deck. There's a cat and get in for 2. Alright, buddy. Stranger thing. So next time we could go into the Brawler, so that way we set up for a Chandra. Depends what he puts down. I think that's our move, unless you remove this cat. Yeah, there we go. So it looks like with this route. Waiting to see a wizard or something. Oh. Tempo. And then you didn't flash that in. I think we don't show him anything just yet. Why is he not flashing them in? He could have flashed in last turn and drawn a card off this one. I don't know. Whoa, lava coil. Kinda gonna wish he didn't do that. So we're gonna go into this, I think. I know he has flyers, but just unless he's got another lava coil or what do you call it? Unsummon. Okay. Ooh. Buffed by 2. No, I can do the big one. I think that's the way. Okay, so you get 5 in. Block. Now Chandra should stay alive here for us to then cast that, wiping the board. Okay, we did have another lava coil, but we do have another brawler. Still think that's the best one because his hand's empty. He's going to have to start paying to draw. Oh, he's not respecting it. Okay. Okay, buddy. So I could go Runaway Steamkin and the Lavakin. Instead. I think we I think we do the big one. Bring up Mama Bear. Can't be countered. Doesn't have any cards. Wipe the board. Can't get any cards. So now he's just top decking. And we're going to start piling our cards out. This isn't the red aggro. That's the beauty of it. Okay, so let's do this right. Go Stinkin. Into another kin, the twins, and give you an emblem. So now he's going to have to be getting some good removal, because next turn you are getting chopped. Okay. Okay. A big attack here. Boom. And that's the game. Boom. So as you can see, it just sort of trickles out. Each card just kisses each other as they come out. It just works really good. It's not a mono red aggro or anything. Ooh, I think we need to go and open that. Yes, it's not mono red aggro. You're not emptying your hand, so by turn 4 or 5 you've still got the half grip. Feels fantastic, mate. Shopping card. Nice, that's my 4th one. I think she's got to go maybe in the deck. I didn't have any copies of her because I felt like we weren't dumping our hand. We didn't really need to dig in so much, but it's up for debate. So yeah, that's the deck. You see what it's trying to do. It just sort of trickles out real quick. Like you've got mana from the cat, then you've got mana from the Steamkin, and then you can mana from the Chandra. And if you have a regulator out, you've got 4 mana from her. It just turns into this. You can dump your hand and then get a huge attack in. So at one point you can, but for the most part it doesn't happen until about turn 5 or 6. So until then you're steadily putting solid threats out that need to be answered. So I feel like it's a solid red deck. I'm going to see how far it can take me. I'll probably do some videos soon of me trying to climb the ladder in ranked. And as we've got the new set coming up, I think I've seen on Strictly Better Magic, Dev said that there's a week until spoilers. So a week until spoilers. This is my first time I'm going to try and cover spoiler season. I'm going to do endless nights of research gathering, and I'll do an independent video just about the next set. So expect some different videos coming up soon, some ranked climbing, some spoiler season build up and Brewskin ideas, but yeah, basically I just wanted to get as many of my current decks that I had built ready for you guys and so you can see what I'm trying to do, if you like my style, if you like my decks. Also, if you have any ideas, any suggestions, hit me up in the comments. I'm very open for suggestions. I really want to have that sort of community input and be able to sort of build decks with you. So if there's cards you want to sort of see me build, or if there's particular things that you've been trying to make work, let me know. I'm really keen to sort of brew with you, and see if we can make a behemoth ranking deck. And lastly, I am going to start working on some more competitive decks as well, because I do understand that a lot of my decks are based around jank, and I have showcased a lot of my decks with mainly wins, a couple of losses here and there, but I'm just mainly, I think, showing you the process of the plan, and then you can sort of adjust it to sort of be what you want. But back on topic, I'm going to be doing a very set competitive build coming up. I've been brewing it. I've got it in my book here, so slowly tuning it, slowly testing it. Each day I get a few hours in on it, and I just want to get it super right, and then once I have it, I'm going to deliver it on a video and take it into ranked and see what you guys think. So if that's something that you'd like more of as well, let me know. Like, subscribe, follow, hit me up with all those shenanigans, and help me make this dream of being a full-time YouTube content creator come true. Until next time, Nocturnal Duck out.